feel like your weight to the right. Ready? Hi, everyone.
What is up? What's going on?
Ron's trying to take forever.
Man, I am really not. But what's going on, everyone?
Happy Thursday.
It is Thursday.
Thank God.
All right.
I thought yesterday was Thursday. So I was expecting today to be Friday, and unfortunately it wasn't.
Okay.
So what's our topic today?
Today we are talking about the difference between enabling and supporting. In today's age, we use a lot of words when it comes to today's youth or upcoming adults. We call them soft. We call them entitled. We call them spoiled. But are we as parents the reasoning behind that? Do we know, or do you know, the difference between supporting and enabling?
I'd like to say yes.
I
know the definitions, but sometimes have I ever enabled? Probably.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Not often.
Because
but
there's a thin
probably.
line between supporting and
Correct.
enabling.
Or may I dabble in enabling? Maybe, but may I be this total enabler? Probably not, just because of the type of person I
Right.
am.
And I'm not even going to say just when it comes to the youth or these kids nowadays, the young adults, because we have some full-grown adults that fall into the category of being enabled.
Yes.
As well. You know what I mean? A lot of people, especially when it comes to society and finances, people need help. But sometimes people need help and they take the help to the point where it becomes more of a
crutch.
Or a responsibility. And it hurts them more than it actually helps them. So that is our conversation for today. What is the difference between enabling and supporting?
So I'm going to give the definition of enabling versus supporting. So support is helping someone that could do for themselves in the right conditions.
Okay.
But enabling is stepping in and mitigating consequences that would otherwise be a result of negative choices.
How I see it is supporting helps the person. Is for the person.
Yeah.
Enabling is for you. It helps you as the person. If you look at it, and
that's an interesting perspective,
right? Because if you look at it, a lot of times, and I watch what's that show, like Intervention, right?
Yeah.
When somebody enables someone, it does something for them. The person that's enabling, it does something for them.
It makes them
feel better.
Way.
Exactly. So enabling is more for the person that is enabling. And supporting generally helps the person that they're trying to help, if that makes sense. Using the definition, the word within the definition. Enabling is for me, supporting is for them.
Supporting is for me. I'm here to help. I'm showing you my love by supporting, but enabling is you're hurting me because now you're inconveniencing me. You're putting me in a tough position.
Okay. Yeah. I get that part, but when it comes to support, the final outcome of support helps that person.
Yeah.
The final outcome of enabling helps me. Because it helps me to say I'm doing the right thing for this person, no matter if they're doing wrong.
Because I'm sure a lot of the people on intervention who continue to enable does not help them. It puts them deeper into a corner.
Okay.
That they put themselves in.
Because they felt a certain way about themselves.
Yeah.
As far as helping that person.
Alma says sometimes people don't realize they are enabling. I agree.
Yes.
I know on that intervention, they always will talk to the family that's closest to that person. And they're sometimes pretty brutal. The counselors are like, you're the one doing this and you have to stay strong and you have to do this and that. Because by you doing these things for them or giving them money or whatever it is,
right,
giving them a place to do drug or whatever the case, then you're the one enabling them. And it's
Yeah.
sometimes a hard truth to swallow.
I think if you're supporting someone, in my opinion, there should be a final outcome.
If
You
you're
know what I mean?
supporting
If you're
them,
supporting them, if
Yeah.
I'm supporting you, I'm doing this so then you can reach
A
a
step
certain,
up.
a
Yeah.
certain goal.
yes.
When you enable someone, normally there is no certain goal to reach. You're just
Mhm.
continuing on doing things for
well,
individuals.
there should be an end goal.
And it's probably not going
Either
to be
their
good.
demise or death.
Yeah, it's probably not going to be good.
Yeah.
But yeah, you see it all the time. And we have friends, family members, the whole nine, that it falls in one of these categories. You know that person, whether they've been getting supported by someone for a long time or enabled
Mhm.
for a long time.
Yeah.
And like I said at the beginning, there's a thin line between enabling
agree.
and supporting, and one can actually turn into
To
the other
Yeah.
at any
You're
given time.
Your intention is to support, but then you start to
Enable, because your support puts them in a situation where they're like, all right, now that I'm getting this and keep
Let's
on
see
getting
what
it, yeah,
else
now I
they
don't
can
have to
help
do
me
too
with.
much. Yeah, I don't have to reach the next level now because
Mhm.
I'm getting this from this person.
Yeah.
And then you're stuck in a predicament where now I'm continuing on giving. I can't not give
Mhm.
because then I'm not supporting. You see what I'm
Do
saying?
you, and you don't have to tell me the specifics, but do you, well, no, we'll wait till after. I was going to ask a question and then realize we had.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to start with a few examples of enabling.
Okay. And before we get to that, if you guys have fallen in any of these categories where you felt that you were a good supporter in a way, no
Mhm.
matter what the support was, or you felt like you fell into a category of enabling someone or something, chime in and let us know what the
Mhm.
situation was.
Okay. All right. So the first one for enabling is making excuses for them.
Yes, for enabling.
So what does that look like in your Ronald world?
When it comes to a full, what do you call it? A full capable individual
Mhm.
that is capable of doing X, Y, and
Whatever.
Z,
Yeah.
right? But you keep on providing for them and giving them excuses
Mhm.
per what they are not doing responsibly.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? If you, and I think we probably cover this, look past their irresponsibilities,
Mhm.
then that's what I see making excuses for him. Oh, well, he's been working for 3 years. He needs a break, or she's
Yeah.
been doing
I
this.
was thinking of a lot of kids with school, like, oh, parents do their homework for them, or
Mhm.
right, or parents, the kid every year tells me last minute the day before a project is due, and I keep going and figuring it out for them instead of, guess what? You waited till this time.
Right.
You're gonna have
Or-
to take the loss.
Or if there's a
because-
bad grade, if they had
Yeah.
bad grades, it's always somebody else's fault, like the
Fault.
teacher's fault, or
they just haven't graded it yet.
yeah, something of that nature. And then you're catering towards that,
Mhm.
and then all of a sudden you have a heartburn with like the administration
Yeah.
because your kid decided not to do their homework or study
Mhm.
for the test. That's enabling somebody making excuses for them.
Yeah.
Or they give them too much homework nowadays. So
Mhm.
how do you expect kids to study?
Yes.
Like
Yeah. So that to me is what, like, making
excuses for
them.
an individual that is being enabled. I
Yeah.
would agree with that.
Okay. Next one is giving them money.
Okay.
Anytime they ask for money, or if they're in a bind, I was gonna say pickle, and I knew Ron would be like, pickle. In a
Yeah.
bind, but they are not being financially responsible, but you continue to still give them money knowing that they're not responsible, or maybe they're not even trying to get their own job
hmm
to have their own income, and then you just keep giving them money. Why would they go get their own income?
And you could have said in a pickle, but do you know in a pickle is a baseball term? Right? And you probably don't even know what the pickle is when it comes to a baseball term.
The bat?
No.
What?
Anyway, what is it give?
Oh God. Alma says, as parents, we are good at this, making excuses. It's about consequences that come with decisions. I agree.
Okay. Yeah, but
So-
giving them money, when you give someone money,
Mm-hmm.
I understand individuals in a situation where they're trying and they just fall short.
Mhm.
But every time, and you look at the irresponsibility of the person, no matter if they're overspending, no matter if they're living beyond their means,
Yes.
and you keep on funding,
Mhm.
funding, and
They're
giving
never
money,
gonna learn.
they're never going to learn,
Nope.
right? They're never going to learn. So what happens is they become dependent on you,
Yes.
and then you just keep on forking out money with normally a speech that goes behind it.
Right.
But you're
And
not going to
that's
do
it.
anything.
Yeah,
Yes.
but you're not
Yeah.
going to do anything. Next one is covering for them or lying.
Yeah, like let's take work.
I was just gonna say work.
Yeah, you're missing out. The person is your significant other, whatever, is always missing work, and you're the one that's making the call. He or she is sick or can't come
it's
in,
like,
or
they're adults, so why aren't they calling?
yeah, they're going through some things or whatever, or the water heater broke or something like that, where you're always making excuses, just like the first one,
Yeah.
or covering for them, then whatnot. They don't learn the lesson.
Yeah, but I feel like making excuses is different than covering for them.
Okay, what's the difference?
I don't know. I just feel like making excuses is acknowledging the bad act, but trying to go around it. Whereas covering for them is trying to like cover up the act itself. That's in my mind when I think. No?
It could
Is that
be
more confusing? Yeah, so covering for them is like
they're not doing something, you do it on their behalf.
Yeah, like that way.
Like they're supposed to be washing the dishes
they
every
didn't do
day.
something wrong. They didn't do it at all. So then you're like either doing it or just like
right. Like they're supposed to do the dishes Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. They decide not to do the dishes. You step in and do it for them, and you kind of make an excuse.
Right. Whereas the making excuse is you still kind of hold them a little to the fire, but you allow them to extend like the dishes, right? Oh, okay, well, we'll leave them there and you can do them tomorrow. Right. To me is what in my mind.
Or you come home and you say, oh, such and such did the dishes, and you did the dishes, and you're like, yeah, they took care of the dishes like early, but when they came home from school or whatever.
Which is a lie.
Okay.
All right. Next one is ignoring the issue to prevent conflict.
Yes.
I know that because I'm not big on confrontation. I'm lying. I'm good at confrontation in certain aspects, but not good in other aspects. Yeah.
Okay.
Like I always like tell my sister, like if you get a service, say like I go get my nails done and I'm like, that is crooked. Like I'll speak up. Okay. Right. But in other aspects, I won't.
So you're always good at conflict sometimes.
Yes.
Okay, good.
I know y'all understood that. So yeah, so like say again, I'm just gonna bring up kids in general, like sometimes especially teenagers are rough to be around because they are kind of like short fused and parents don't know what you're talking about type thing. And sometimes you don't approach them about that dirty room that's been nasty for the last 2 months because it's going to end in an argument.
Okay.
Right. And so then you just ignore it.
Right. Or somebody in your family or whatever has a gambling problem or a drinking problem or something of that nature. Instead of you addressing the issue, you just kind of look past it.
Yeah, like say if I had like someone who's in my family that's like a substance abuse abuser, if they came to me to ask me for a ride to go get alcohol or to go get this, although I don't agree with it, they are argumentative. And even sometimes people can be combative. I'm going back to the whole, what is it called? The show that we were saying, intervention show. And like they can get combative sometimes. And so then you're like, okay, I'll take you.
Or it could be one of those situations where you have someone, that let's say they have an addiction or like a gambling problem. And they said, hey, can I get like $20 to go buy some food at the corner store? but you know that they're going to go gamble the money away.
Something else.
You kind of look
Totally.
past
Yeah.
the whole problem that they have
Right.
and give them money, knowing that they're going to spend it in a way that they did not discuss with you.
Right.
All right.
All right. I have a few comments. So Jeanette says the homework part I'm guilty about.
Oh.
Last minute notification from my child on a project pisses me off, but I will make a store run for the supplies, but they will do the work even if they are up later than usual, but there is a consequence to follow. They will get a few extra chores to help me out for wasting my time. That's good.
What are chores nowadays for kids?
Oh, that's a good podcast.
Yeah, like what are the chores nowadays for kids? But go ahead.
And then Elma says money depends on situations. Separate need from want, or did they spend unwisely? Like, hey mom, I need underwear versus hey mom, can I get this? That, like a perfume.
Yeah. The needs and the wants is big, and I always say that in life. You should always know the difference between a need and a want.
Like, hey mom, I need $20 for a class. What do they call them when they go on a field trip?
Yeah.
Versus I just need money because I want to go out with my friends.
Right. Or I need $20 so I can spend it at the school lunch cafeteria
instead of eating the lunch that you pay for.
Some Popeyes or something like that. Yes, I would agree with that.
All right. And then the last one I have for enabling is not setting or sticking to boundaries.
That is, yeah.
So if you tell them you better have this room cleaned by this weekend and then they don't do it, and then there's no consequences to it.
Yeah. And sometimes that not sticking to always ends up with an extension. Mm-hmm. I told you to get it done by this weekend, have it done by Monday. You go in there on Monday, hey, have it done by Wednesday. You better have it done before next weekend or you can't. Yeah. And then it just gets extended to the.
I know that was a conversation when our kids were younger, because if Zaylen got in trouble, I would tell him no TV, or how was it that you said? And you're like, back in my day, or the way I do it is I take the TV away, or someone took the TV away.
Yeah. You don't have nothing in your room.
Yeah.
You just have your thoughts. You know what I mean? There was no playtime. There was nothing for you to get involved in. If you was on restriction, you was on restriction.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I felt like I was pretty strict, and even my family thought I was strict on Zaylen, but Ron was like, you're not strict enough.
That's just me. That's how I grew up. So have you guys, in saying that we went through the list of enabling, have you guys ever thought that you were enabling someone, or when you look back to it, have you ever enabled someone?
So Alma says generation differences. Some of the younger ones don't necessarily view things in life the same. I totally agree. Don't make threats you don't carry out.
I would agree.
Yeah, and I know it's hard. That's, yeah. Jeanette says trash, filling the fridge with waters, dishes, yard work, laundry, cleaning the bathroom, sweeping, mopping, tending to the garden, and I'm sure there are a few others I can't think of right now. Dang.
There's some chores.
Those are some good chores. Mine's normally the trash. Take the trash in kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So you can do the support side.
So on the support side, so let's recap. Enabling is making excuses for them, giving them money, just giving it to them, covering for them or lying, ignoring the issue to prevent conflict, and not setting or sticking to boundaries. That was the enabling side. Mm-hmm. So the number one for support is listening and letting them vent. When it comes to support, it doesn't have to be something monetarily that you give to someone. Yeah. Sometimes support comes in the form of just being present, right? Just listening to what they have going on. And then in conversation, sometimes you can kind of cure the problem or help that person in the right direction, or send them in the right direction for them to change whatever the pattern that they had for the future.
Or like help him to see things in a different perspective. I always use Ron. I always have said this as my sounding board because he's very level-headed and he's good at, that's why we do this podcast. He's good at being able to see things from different perspectives. Even if he doesn't agree with it, he can still argue the different perspectives. So Ron is normally the person I come to with issues because he's good at giving me advice.
And normally in that manner, I'm very open. I'm a very open person, and I can see things in both
Yes,
ways. You
you
know what I
are.
mean? I'm not really
Not
hardly
me.
ever stuck on one side. I'm just like, okay, I can see that.
And
You know what
sometimes
I mean?
I do have tunnel vision, and he's actually taught me to like be more broad in my views.
Yeah, the world is made of different characters in these days.
I know, but sometimes when you're like all you know is your own thoughts and feelings, it's hard to think
I
of
get that,
outside of that.
but you were taught that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And my thing is, I didn't grow up with you, or these people didn't
Mhm.
grow up with you. They didn't have the same mom, same dad, same this, that, and the other. So you were taught certain
Yeah.
things. Just because you were taught that way doesn't mean that that other person is wrong. So all you have to do is just take a listen. If you don't like what they're saying, so be it.
Right.
You know what I mean? But that doesn't make them wrong. It
'Cause
just
their
makes them
thoughts
different than
don't-
you.
Their thoughts or the way they think of things don't necessarily affect you in
No,
any way.
no,
So,
they just think totally different of how you was raised.
Yeah.
Period.
I agree.
Another way for support is listen. Advice and suggestions.
Right. So the first one is listening, but
Yes.
the second one is giving advice.
Advice and some suggestions. Now, I will say this.
Sometimes your friends
Yeah.
give the wrong advice.
Sometimes you can't listen to. You can listen to them, but some suggestions that people give you.
Abort.
Yeah.
Abort.
Think about it before you run and do it, because some suggestions are not good to act on. I'm just saying.
Elma says support a decisions listening. Support a decisions listening. I agree. We live in a busy world and don't listen to others. Have time for communication. Too many distractions today. Internet, TV, video games.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like listening and letting a person just talk to you or whatever. Sometimes when people, and we're going back to the first one, sometimes when people just talk it out and you listen to them and they're venting, they figure it out on their own.
Just by talking it out.
Just by talking it out. You don't really have to
that's
say
happened to
anything.
me just at work. Like it's not really anything personal, but sometimes talking it out to someone, but I'm really kind of reflecting myself.
Yeah, once you start thinking and
come
you're
up with the
talking,
answer.
you're just like, oh, okay. Oh, now that I said that out
Mhm.
loud, now I can kind of figure out what I got to do.
Yeah.
But the advice and the suggestions, like I said, you have those people in your life that you know when they speak, you kind of pay extra attention to. And then you got those friends that they just be speaking just to be speaking. So some of the suggestions
Ron.
is just go the opposite of what they say.
You do that too, where I'm like, Rod, you're just talking right now.
But I'm just talking in general. I'm not giving advice. I just be talking in general.
He always wants to do it when I'm reading my book too. I'm like,
yeah.
I was gonna say also, do you ever find yourself or anybody that you sometimes go to get advice from someone who you know will side with you? Like, I need you to confirm what I'm thinking, right? Sometimes you have a friend who sets you straight and lets you see it in a different perspective, and then you have someone who you know they're gonna see it your way, and you just want them to like confirm what
because you know they're going to be biased regardless of the fact. You know what I mean? So you're not really getting advice from them. You telling them what you're going to do or how you're going to do it.
No?
I don't know if I went to someone for advice that I knew was going to side with me.
I'm just asking.
So if I go to somebody that I know is going to side with me, I'm just telling them. I'm over there venting versus
lies,
asking.
actually, because we do this with my sister and brother-in-law, because me and my brother-in-law are like twins, and Ron and Crystal are like twins. We think alike, not we, but Ron and Crystal think alike. They are alike. They are everything alike. And me and Patrick are this opposite, right? And so do we not call them up based on what our argument is to get confirmation from them?
You do.
Okay, I do.
Exactly. I don't do that. You know what I mean?
Or they'll call us, like Crystal or Pat will call us to like, right, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, I agree with Patrick.
See, I don't call because, I'm stubborn in my ways. So it is how it is.
He is. stubborn.
But I wouldn't call somebody and knowing that they're going to side with me and try to get advice from them, because I'm just going to tell them what I need to tell them.
But when I do ask someone for advice, I have said that, like, tell me if I'm wrong. Like, I even say that in my sentence, like, tell me if I'm wrong. Did I,
Meaning, side with me.
No.
I'm just running it by you just in case somebody asks. I did ask somebody else outside of myself.
And you agree with me.
That is exactly what you're going to say.
All right. What's the next one?
We're talking about financial assistance.
Yep. So that for enabling, it was giving them money.
Mhm.
Financial assistance or a loan or a place to stay. These are things that are going to help you, but I'm not giving it to you. There's some type of maybe exchange.
Yes.
Right? Like if I'm giving you this money, it's a loan and I expect you to pay me back, or whether it's interest, or if I give you this money now, I expect when you get paid, because you had to pay a bill that was prior to when your paycheck hit or whatever,
Right.
I expect it after the fact.
So more of a set boundary is
Yeah.
what we had on there as far as sticking to the boundary.
Mhm.
If it's financial assistance, that's what it is. I'm going to
It's
either I'm
assistance,
going to
it's
help you out for 3 months.
Mhm.
After 3 months, you're on your own.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to give you this $100, but when you get paid, you got to give me my $100 back.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Something that's set in stone when it comes to support. I'm supporting you to get to actually the next level. I'm not enabling
Yes.
you to stay around
Where you are
at the
and
same
live off
level.
me.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's how I see it.
Elma says women are good at this venting with peers their age, and maybe kids go to wrong places, people, to be part of a group. All goes back to listening and venting, especially conflict.
Yeah, sometimes like when it comes to
I think she means especially conflict.
especially like when guys when we are looking for not assistance, but we are venting and looking for suggestions, we normally go to people that are like us. You know what I mean? What are you
That's
into?
what I'm
Okay, I'm
saying.
going to this person, blah blah blah. If a guy even goes to somebody for like advice,
Mhm.
and normally it's I'm going to tell you what's going on as a guy.
Okay.
And then if I'm wrong in any type of way, then you jump in and you kind of tell me I'm wrong. But I'm not going to ask you, hey, am I wrong? Or hey,
No.
give me some advice.
Well,
No,
see, I do.
no,
I'm like, tell me if I'm wrong in the way I did this, or
no. I'm gonna
my
be like, hey,
approach.
this is what happened, or this is what's going on. I did this, blah blah blah, this, that, and the other. If you don't say anything, I'm right. You know what I mean? If you jump
So
in,
if you don't have any,
if I don't have
any
no
words
kickback,
to
yeah,
give,
then I'm right.
yeah, they're confirming you're right.
So yeah, it just depends on what friend do you have. And granted, you might have 10 friends, but that might be
I'm saying. You go to certain friends based on what you want to hear.
but there might be only one friend that you would even go to, period.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? You might
Yeah.
have 10, but you only go to one friend, and no matter what, that friend's gonna tell you either you're right or wrong, this, that, and the other.
Mhm.
And you have your one friend that is always gonna side with you. You got your one friend that don't really care. You know what I mean? Like, why are you telling me this? Ain't nothing I can do about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So support, when it comes to it, we have that list, which was listening, letting the person vent, getting advice and giving like suggestions and so forth. The financial assistance, loan, place to stay, with boundaries that are associated with the support.
Elma says person or confident. What? Venting?
Elma, she don't
I
know
don't
what
know,
you're talking
Elma.
about.
Either I'm drunk or okay. And then she says, have to be careful. You listen, don't suggest or advice.
Yeah, well, sometimes it just depends on who you're talking to, though. You know what I mean?
I think too, sometimes you as the person who's looking for advice or venting, I know we do this at work. One of my girls, she's like, sometimes I just, because she goes, Angela, you're a doer. So sometimes I just need you to listen. I said, okay, so preface the conversation with, can I just vent? And then I know that I don't need to do anything with it. She just needs me to listen.
I've said that all the time, and I'm still curious about that, which I said we're going to do a podcast about it. When is it the time to listen, and when is it time to respond? You know what I mean? sometimes people, like we said, they just want to vent to you and they'll figure it out on their own. But a lot of times when people start, and let's say you don't agree with them, then you start throwing in your 2 cents into it and whatnot. That's not what they want you to do. They just want you to listen.
Elma says, thinking faster than I can write.
Okay.
So good, I'm not drunk.
Yes.
All right. So my question is, if you have ever enabled somebody, what changed and how did you stop the enabling?
I think I enabled a few people in my day. And what got me to stop enabling is when personally I felt like I was being taken advantage of. You know what I mean? When it hit me personally, it had nothing to do with that person's income, outcome, this, that, and the other. It had to do with how I felt about how they were doing me. You see what I'm saying?
And mine is similar, but mine was I stopped when it was negatively affecting me.
Okay. Same thing.
Yeah.
You know, when you go through and you're trying to support someone and whatnot, and then you feel as though they're taking advantage of you to the point where you start feeling like dumb.
Yeah.
Like, why am I doing this?
Why am I doing this?
Yeah, and I'm looking at this person.
Or why am I going without?
Well, and they're having, like you float them some money or whatnot. Then they're at the club and you at the house, you know what I mean? Because you can't go out, or they're over here, they have their little steak dinner, they have the barbecue and
Starbucks every day.
Yeah, then you got like spaghetti in the refrigerator and so forth.
Or I loan someone money and they're eating out every day and I am eating.
I don't eat out. Yeah. Something like that. So when I started feeling like I was being taken advantage of, especially when I was in my younger stages,
where you were struggling yourself.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But I felt bad because when somebody came to me I felt that struggle.
They were
right, because I've been there. Yeah, I've been there before. Then they started living better than me. I was just like,
because it was almost like they had to step on you to come up.
Yeah. There's some people, I did that podcast or the what do you call it, a video earlier, let's say this year, that there are some people in life that try to they use you as a stepping stone. Right. They just step on you to try to step over you. Yeah. And you have to determine when people need help, what type of help that you're going to get. Because some people take advantage of that whole situation. And when you fall on hard times, they be like, I can't help you.
And I know when you come to the point where you're like, there's nothing more that I can do for you. It's like the hardest decision, right? Because it's a really hard decision because you feel helpless and that you are like, I could always help somehow. But in the end, at some point, you're kind of hurting them because you're not always going to be there.
I'm a visual person, very visual. So if I'm helping you, I'm paying attention to what you got going on. If you ain't trying to help yourself and you just coming back to me to help you time after time after time, right, then I'm just like, there's nothing else that I can do.
I agree.
Some people fall into a situation where they might need you to enable them to get the support that they need to get back on their feet.
Right.
There are some situations like that. But when you're supporting time after time after time, you're not supporting anymore. You're enabling.
Right.
Yes.
I agree. If you're there to support them and you don't see positive progression, then you're enabling.
How do you negatively progress?
Okay, well, then you're not progressing.
Okay.
What did I say?
You said positively progressing. If you're not positively progressing.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're such a grammar person.
Okay.
Is Michelle on? She would say there's like, she always said, that was a double negative. You're like, Michelle.
Yeah, but if you pay attention to them and they're not progressing, they're not
positively progressing, but progressing.
If they're not
then
progressing,
that's support. You're using my support to progress.
Yes.
But if I'm helping you out or trying to support you, but there's no progression,
or you get worse, you know what I mean? Then you start needing more and more, then it becomes enabling and not really supporting. Yes.
I agree. I feel like nowadays, because so many people are hurting, you really have to evaluate
Okay.
who that person is to you. Because also, like, if you're helping some Joe Schmo that you really don't, maybe it's a coworker, you don't really know them, but you interact with them daily, and you want to help out. Like, sometimes that can also become awkward. But
Right.
sometimes, again, helping someone out, especially just getting to the help, can negatively like backfire.
Right. And I can understand that, especially in today's age. You know what I mean? I have no problem with helping someone.
Correct.
No problem whatsoever with helping them. But once again, if you ain't trying to help yourself, and my support becomes your
reliance,
then it's a wrap. You know what I mean? If you, and I give it to people, if you fall into a situation to the point where you have to come and ask me as a person for some support or for some help, I know that's big. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people's pride won't allow them to do that. But if you come to me and ask me for support or ask me for some help and I give it to you, I expect you to do things to get off of my support, not stick around and continuously ask me for the same type of support.
That same
outside of, well, we're talking about financial and stuff like that. If it's support as far as me listening to you, if you guys are out there and you need somebody to talk to, I'll listen to you all day. You know what I mean?
What if it's somebody you offer a place to, like say they're just struggling, they lost their place because they financially weren't, and granted, you don't know the background, you just know they're financially struggling. They move in with you and then all of a sudden they're like imposing on this, leaving their stuff around. They aren't, you can tell they're not trying to set themselves up to move out.
First of all, with the shady laws that states have nowadays,
with the squatters, I don't know if I could ever let anyone
move in with me. You know what I mean? You gotta
That's
be.
True. I
you
would
gotta
rather
be close
get you
to
a
me.
hotel for a few, right?
Yeah. You got to be kind of close to me, for me to let you move in. I just
I've
know
been
in
seeing
general
them a lot about the squatter laws. Like squatters have more rights than actual owners.
Yeah, they do. And a lot of times if you receive mail at somebody's house, you a tenant. You know what I mean? You got to evict that person in the whole line. So you just got to be careful on who you allow in your home.
Yes, you're correct. That's a whole nother topic. But you're right. You have to really think of everything when you help someone out.
Jasmine talking about me and the kids about to move in and take over. Come on, Jasmine, bring them on, man. They'll be totally different kids by the time they leave here, boy. Because I'll be cracking that whip. Yeah. Okay. I'll be having them do them chores.
Right, that Jeanette said.
Jeanette said, boy, I'll be
tending the garden and all.
Cutting grass, and I ain't even got no grass, boy. They be out there.
Just pretend. Go back and forth.
Yeah. So you're more than welcome to come through, Jazz. I got you.
I said, nah, I'm good. I'll stay where I'm at.
They'll call Pops instantly. Yeah. Well, Pops is my brother, so he'll probably agree with me. Like, beat him.
No, he
won't.
Yeah,
but nowadays you just got to be careful on who you let in, especially in like financially and stuff like that, because a lot of people are not in the category or even desire to get into a position to even give you back your money or get out of your house, or they're not in a rush to get employed and stuff like that. So just be careful on who you are generous with.
What is it? First time, shame on you. Second, what is it?
Don't give me the line. I know what you're talking about, but I'll shame on you. Third time, there won't be a third time. Is it?
First time,
shame on
you.
Me.
Second, what is it? Somebody knows that saying.
I think it's the first time. Shame on.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Fool me a third time.
I've never heard of a third time.
There won't be a third time.
I've never heard of a third time.
Wasn't that on what's his name? J. Cole song or somebody's song?
But yeah, so I'm a giving person, so I will always try to help somebody. But if you screw me once, I'm pretty much done.
Yeah.
That's just how
My thing is, I'm
we
a,
roll.
intentions. I look at your intentions. What are your intentions when it comes down to my help or whatever it is that I'm providing for you? If I'm helping you out and you taking advantage of me while I'm trying to help you, it's a wrap.
I agree.
Yeah, I'll give you the shirt off my back. But if you use my shirt to go to the club while I'm sitting in the house, and then you go buy some Jordans to go with my shirt, nah, player, it's a wrap.
I agree.
We done.
So if you are a person who is helping somebody, make sure to set boundaries, stand by those boundaries.
Big time.
Not make excuses for them.
Never.
And make them accountable for their progression.
100%.
If you are a person who needs assistance, don't take advantage. Do everything you can to get out of the situation and use the help that you're getting as a way to get out of the situation.
And once you get out your situation, make sure you reach back and let the people know that have helped you out, that you appreciate what they have done to get you to the next level.
I agree.
Right. No matter how minor of what you think that they did, no matter if it was one day of staying on somebody's couch or $5, they didn't have to go out of their way to help you out. So reach back and say, you know what? I appreciate you for everything that you've done for me or what you have done for me.
Yeah, I agree. Well, that's it for today, guys. This one was a pretty good one. It happens all the time, so we just figured it was something we'd like to discuss.
Right. And look at your life and see what you have going on and try to see in different situations if you are being an enabler and complaining about what the person is actually doing or not doing, or if you're being a supportive person and trying to help this person get to the next level. The difference maker in all of this is you. You decide if you're going to be an enabler or you decide if you're going to be a supporter.
That's
all right.
Very good.
All right. I like that. Thank you guys for joining us on this Thursday. We will see you guys next Thursday. Hopefully you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend and everyone stay safe.
Peace.